Well, speaking of Trump, that motherfucker cared this weekend. That was the best picture I ever seen in my life.
Dude, the one where he was like walking back from his plane?
Yeah, if you let someone see you with a tie untied around your neck, that is the universal sign for I am fucking depressed. Like it's that and the backpack. If you have a backpack on and one, I think we saw this before, one arm or whatever you call them, one strap is falling off your shoulder and you don't even care to put it back up. That's the other sign of like
you
the
are
only
just slumped.
Who like work who have that happen are like 3-year-olds coming home from getting bullied at kindergarten and me coming home from work.
Dude, I had this the other day. I had the backpack on, but the zippers were undone. And it was like the kids' iPads were going to fall out. And I was like gathering them up. And Caitlin was like, hang on, like, let me zip that up. And I was like, I don't fucking care. Like, just leave it as is. All right. I mean, the Trump rally was the perfect example, I think, of like politics aside, it's just great theater. It's just the drama of it, the storylines swirling around it, the TikTok kids trolling them, the ramp, the water. It's, when you're plugged into politics and you're really concerned about the world, like I probably should be as an adult, but I'm not. But when you are, this shit is all horrifying and none of it's funny. For me, I feel like I'm watching Monday Night Raw. I feel like I'm watching a wrestler in the ring who's hyping the crowd up and getting cheap heat and looking for a pop from the crowd. It's crazy how much it's become entertainment versus politics.
What crowd? That was the highlight.
No, you know what?
Crowd was the saddest thing. I've been in those shoes before. I've been a guy who's got to go on stage and there's no fucking crowd yet. What up, Barstool Blackout Tour?
The ending days of the Blackout Tour were sad scenes.
And the beginning days.
Yeah.
And it was like, I wasn't really around for the end of days, but like, I remember being dressed in a goddamn chicken outfit and I need to go on stage and dance for like 100 people in a fucking place that's supposed to fit 2,000. And there is no worse feeling in the world than looking out and just seeing not empty seats, because there are a lot of those, just empty floor space.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, this sucks. I'm a loser. You start questioning everything you've ever done in your life. And that's when you're in a chicken outfit. I can't imagine when you're running for president and you're like, or running for re-election.
Don't you think, if you told me that like 7,000 people showed up to a presidential rally, I think that would be like a normal number. It's just that those fucking idiots started hyping up over 1 million.
I don't think 6,000 is a lot for a presidential rally.
But like if you had like just like taped off the upper bowl and like everything else was, I don't know. I don't know enough about like do people like bang out arenas all the time for a rally? If that's the case, then yeah, like then you look stupid.
I also don't know, but the amount of floor space that was available was downright depressing. And like that's like just seeing that much pavement ever is not good. Like
they should have made sure if you can't fill the seats, you got to be like, you can't sit. You have to fill in the floor so that way you can at least frame the cameras and all that kind of shit.
Dude, I saw Fall Out Boy at the Ryan Center, URI, on the tail end of Fall Out Boy, and they were like, everyone come on down to the floor. Someone should have said that. They should have had Pete Wentz on the mic before Trump got up there. They're like, everyone get down here.
Dude, that troll by the TikTok, by the youths, is an all-timer. I mean, the story goes they all signed up and requested tickets. They didn't buy tickets, but I guess you can request them so that it's kind of like an RSVP list. They had over 1 million people expected. They had overflow seating outdoors. And I mean, the place it looked like Citi Field in September. Like, there's a handful of us here. That has got to be.
Wouldn't go out. I would not go
out. I read an article that said like behind the scenes, he was flipping out, like screaming at people, like, how the fuck does this happen? And I read that Jared Kushner and someone else who like runs this shit, well, they weren't even there. They were like, they were nowhere to be found at this rally.
I would instead turn it into like a fucking meet and greet, because you can do a meet and greet with 6,000 people. I'd be like, everyone meet me out back where there aren't fucking cameras. I'll shake your hand. Fuck you. I'm not going on stage where like there's just fucking And it's one thing too if it was like everyone was distant and that's the kind of deal it was, where it's like the social distancing rally and everyone's like spaced out apart and that kind of thing. This is one of those supposed to be like a fuck masks, fuck social distancing party.
Cram it in. Well, that's what the pictures from Biden's were, in like a local gym with the 6-foot circles and everyone was separate. That's slick. Because I don't think Joe Biden's expecting like crowds to come. So then you got to be like, well, we're being safe here. That's why it's like a small crowd. Yeah. And whereas Trump went the opposite direction and still, because if you look at the pictures of Biden's, it looks way sadder than even Trump's, but it was more about where the bar was set, according to Trump, where it was like, well, you fell way short of your expectations. If you book
like a Florida Panthers game.
and then I know that, like, I don't know how you combat this, and maybe it was more like CNN was doing this. I don't know what networks it was, but there was so many shots of the crowd with people like yawning and just kind of like looking off in the distance. Like, granted, I know that like a political speech is never going to be the most entertaining, but I do got to give Trump credit. That's where he when he took a sip of that water and then he's like, "Are you not entertained?" And then he just throws the fucking glass on the floor. It's like, but the highlights of his political speech for me were the fucking sipping the water. And he did like 10 minutes on the fucking ramp. Be like, I ran down that ramp so fine. The last like 20 feet, I crushed it. Like, what?
I think that's the problem too, though, is that like the rallies used to be entertaining. And it was like, we're going to build a wall and we're going to get back to all the time. And now it's like, I can walk down ramps.
Right.
That's a pretty big difference between rallies.
The one of the Pod Save guys, I don't know if it was Tommy or John, had said, the first time around, whether we liked it or not, there was this message of like, I'm an outsider. I'm not a lifelong politician. I'm breaking the mold. I'm flipping the script. I'm changing the game. He's like, this time, there's no message. It's just like, I can run down a ramp.
I can drink water and I can use ramps. Like,
and then I don't know if it was serious or not. We're living in a world right now where I feel like I'm pretty internet savvy, got a good sense of humor, good sense of people. And now we're at a point where I can't tell what's real or what's fake anymore. There was that tweet floating around that night that said like the Democrats said he couldn't drink water, and look at him. He drank that water. Greatest president ever. And I laughed. I was like, that's funny. And then I clicked on it. It was like, she's a Republican. She's conservative. She followed it up with more like love for Trump. And I'm like, this is real? And then they do this thing that the right side does this thing where they pretend everything's a joke. Like Donald Trump saying, I told my people to stop testing for corona and the numbers will stop going up. And people are like, that was clearly a joke. Like, I don't think it fucking was. And I don't think that she was joking when she said he can drink water. Like he showed them.
It is pretty concerning where everything has to be explained when like his platform, and the reason everyone liked him is a guy who says what he means. It's the most. He's the president with like the most explanations following statements and actions. Everybody says what he means. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, when you have to explain the joke, it's not a good one. Mm-hmm. When you have to like issue a statement about all your statements, it ain't going well.